Hello everyone, how are you? I hope that all of you are fine out there and staying safe and staying healthy. So, today we are going to discuss a topic that is matter. In our surrounding, you can see a variety of things like plants, animals, you can see birds, and many more things. In your house, like book, pen, table, chair, almirah, and etc. Okay, so all these things are made up of matter. Now, the question arises, what is matter? So, matter is anything that has mass and occupies some space is known as matter. Like if I'm giving you an example, I'm taking a pen. Now, how can we say that it is made up of matter? So, this pen, it can occupy some space, right? It is occupying some space, and the second thing, it has mass also. So, that means this pen is made up of matter. Okay, now this book, it is also occupying some space and has mass also, so we can say that this book is also made up of matter. So everything, every object that has mass and occupies some space is made up of matter. Okay, so we are giving an example like I can give you an example like air, book, pen, everything that you think that it is occupying some space and has mass, that means it is made up of matter. But some things like sound, light, magnetism, can you think that they are made of matter? Hmm. Now these things, like if I say light do not have any mass, it does not occupy any space, that means it is not made up of matter, it is not a matter, right? If I say like happiness does not have any mass and it does not occupy some space, that means it's also not a matter, it is an emotion. So I am concluding that matter is anything that has mass and occupies some space is known as matter. Okay, now classification of matter. According to ancient Indian philosophers, all matter, whether living or non living, is made up of five basic elements, commonly called Panch Tattva. Okay, so these five basic elements are fire, air, water, earth, and sky. Now, all these things are made up of these five basic elements. This is the thinking of ancient Indian philosopher. But now the modern scientists classify the matter into two broad categories based on their physical properties. The first one is physical classification and the second is chemical classification. On the basis of physical classification, matter can be classified into three categories: solid, liquid, and gas. And on the basis of chemical classification, matter is classified into three categories again, that is, atom, molecules, and compounds. Now, first we will discuss all about the physical classification. So, let's just start with the physical nature of matter. The first point is matter is made up of particles. Let's just understand this point with the help of an example. Take a slice of butter or cheese. Now just start cutting it and cut it until you get the smallest unit of that butter, which is called particle. And you can see the picture below. The sand looks continuous, but we all know that sand is made up of fine particles. Therefore, we can say that matter is made up of particles. Now, let's just do activity to understand this point. Take some water in a test tube, glass, or a beaker. Now, note its label, the level of water. Okay, now let's just dissolve some salt in it. Now stir it with the help of the glass rod or stir it till it dissolves. Okay. Now the salt, you can see the salt dissolve in it, but the level of water is same. Now how is this possible? This is possible because the particles of the salt get into the space of the particles of water. This shows that matter is made up of particles. Okay. The second point is that the size of the particles is very small. As we can see, the salt dissolves in the water. Okay. Now it dissolved in the water, but can you see the particles? No, we can't see the particles. Why? Because the size of the particles is very small, that it is beyond our imagination. Okay, so the size of the particles is very small. The third point is that the particles have space between them. Now you can see the salt dissolving in the water. We can see the particles of the salt. Why? Because they get into the space of the particles of water. That means that particles have space between them. Okay. Now the next point is that the particles are continuously moving. Now how can we see that? You are saying that the sunlight coming from the window, in that you can see the dust particles. The dust particles are moving, they're continuously moving. And if I can say that if I have some water in a test tube and put some red ink in it and left it undisturbed, then after some time you can see that the ink dissolve in it very uniformly. Why? Because the particles of the ink are moving, right? And the particles of water are also moving. So because of the particles that they are moving, they just uniformly get mixed into each other. So we can say that the particles are continuously moving. The next point is particles of matter attract each other. Now let's understand it with the help of an example. Take a paper and try to break it like this. Not able to do it. Why? Because the particles of this paper are held together by strong force of attraction. That's why we are not able to break it off. That means the particles of matter have strong force of attraction. They attract each other. Like this, take another example. This iron nail. Let's just break it. Not possible. Why? Because the particles of this iron nail is held together by strong force of attraction. The particles of matter attract each other. That's why we are not able to do this. Okay, so understand this point also. Let's just revise all the points. The first point is that matter is made up of particles. Second, particles, the size of the particles is very small, that is beyond our imagination. Third, the particles have space between them. Next, the particles are continuously moving. And the last point is that the particles of matter have strong force of attraction. They attract each other. Okay.